All right, Rob. Hey, guess what? It's time to wrap it up. We're gonna do a little RVDology.
Let's
Right?
do it,
Let's
dude.
do it to it, brother. So here you go. The
Uh,
floor is yours, my friend.
what did we talk about last week?
Oh yeah, loyalty. Here, I'll put myself up real quick again. Um,
What you got, dude? Did I happen to bleed into your week at all last week? Or are you getting too used to these ideology values of mine and kind of just let them go in one ear and out the other now?
no. So loyalty, I've thought about it. It's just like you kind of put the aspect in it of thinking about like who should you be loyal to and who kind of like deserves the loyalty in certain ways. And like, a lot of my headspace goes to like I over obsess about a lot of stuff. I have OCD, so I think about a lot of stuff. So if I get focused on a subject, I'll ruminate and ruminate and ruminate and ruminate. And then, like, you get to a point, like, past relationships, or you think about other stuff, whether it's with a girl or with friends or anything like that. And it kind of comes to the aspect of, like, geez, how much time am I wasting just spending thinking about this person or thinking about this aspect where it's just like, I'm putting a lot of loyalty into somebody that might not be thinking the same thing. And it's just like, what am I getting out of that besides nothing? It's just like you kind of reflect back on it. It's like, man, I'm wasting a lot of time doing that. And so trying to be conscious of that and like realizing like who do you put your loyalty and your thought process into. That's really what I factored in a lot throughout this week, especially this week, like throughout this week, especially. So yeah, Rob. So it's
Cool.
been a good
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good. To add on to that, a lot of people, maybe I almost want to say that at a certain point, all of us are probably most loyal to ourselves.
Hmm.
Some people remain only loyal to themselves. And we talked about those people, DTA, don't trust anyone.
Right.
And then when you find love, then sometimes I feel like you can branch out from only being loyal to yourself, and then like let's say like you have kids, then I don't know, I'm loyal to Katie, obviously, and by being loyal to myself, I know that I'm going to be happiest and I'm taking care of myself best by being loyal to her, so that works like both ways. When you have kids, then a lot of parents, I feel like they can be more loyal to their kids than they are to themselves because they're sacrificing, giving up time, things, parts of themselves for the benefit of their kids because they love them so much and feel responsible for their happiness and their well-being because they created them, so like I feel like it's really useful to know and to think about that, about like who you're loyal to, who deserves your loyalty. Make sure you're loyal to the right people, and also who's loyal to you, and do you deserve that?
Right. That's a great point too. No, Rob, that's been a good one. So and definitely feeling about karma too is what as another aspect I've been really taken away with. So yeah, it's been helping.
Man, my values don't expire; they're lifelong.
That's right. You're right. This they have a exist all never ending shelf life.
They are timeless. They
Yes.
are timeless. Yeah. So especially today's, I've been getting a lot of these responses saying that I'm helping people, which I love. I love the thought of that. I take that very seriously because I don't know who else is telling you this shit, and I think that a lot of my stuff can help people if they're willing to see things the way that I see them. And if you don't want to be cool and chill like RVD, then listen and then reaffirm your opposite opinions or values or ways of life. Anyway, we talked earlier about I wasn't able to see the bigger picture, when I was like in the middle of being on TV, in the middle of a program, competitive, hopes up, disappointment, hopes up, disappointment, the cycle, frustration, all that. A lot of the times, if you just remember there's always a bigger picture, sometimes that can get you out of some jams. And basic thinkers aren't able to see the bigger picture because the very first basic level of thinking is survival. And a lot of basic thinkers don't think past that. They have no reason to. And all of their thoughts are about survival. Take, for instance, voting. All right. If there was a vote that was good for everybody in America, but for me, it was going to raise my taxes a little bit. Am I going to vote it down because it's bad for me? Or am I going to see the bigger picture and realize this is way better for the whole country? Pretty sure I know the way that I would vote if there was something that simple to vote on, which there never is. But just to make a point, though, if you think about it, if you're the other person, then you know that you're a basic thinker for sure. And I do know people like that, people that would just vote on what's best for them, even if it's not best for the majority of everyone's well-being. So if you can think of examples of that, that's what I'm talking about when I say the bigger picture. And people that are just focused on themselves, their survival, they're going to get their tacos. That's all they know. They're going to grab the life preserver on the boat when it's going down and watch everybody else drown. I'm not saying that that's wrong if that's how you think, but I am saying that that's inconsistent with values of a leader. You can never be a leader in that kind of position if you're going to save yourself and let everyone else that you're leading go down. And you don't have to feel obligated to be a leader when you make your decisions and choices, but there's a bigger picture than what you're in. I said this earlier. Think about this. We can only see as far as our eyes can see. We can only see what's in front of us right now. But this is only part of the picture. There's a much, much bigger picture. Right now, I'm looking all the way back to 2001 to answer these questions. And now I have the foresight of the bigger picture. I know what I learned. I understand the business more now. I know the impact that my efforts made on my fans and what it did for my career. I know where my path went. Much bigger picture. At the time, Dom's asking me, how did I feel about this and that way back then in 2001? All I had was what was right in front of me now. And that's all I can see right now. That's all you can see is where you at right now. So if you got problems, I feel bad for your son. I got 99 bitches. No problems in a bitch right one. Sorry. Here's something that I learned to deal with problems. And I learned this through martial arts. One of my martial arts instructors, one of the ones that taught me a way to meditate. Not my favorite way to meditate, but one way, and my favorite way to really put everything in perspective. So, he's got the class in position. Our eyes are closed. We're trying to relax, right? And he's telling us to picture ourselves, bird's eye view from the ceiling. Look at the classroom. There's 12 idiots here with karate gis on. We're looking at the top of their heads, right? You can see everybody in comparison to each other, relatively size per size. Now, boom, zoom back. Look at a few city blocks, right? Now look how small we are compared to that. Now you're seeing several buildings and stuff. Zoom back, boom. Look at Battle fucking Creek. How small are we compared to Battle Creek? Zoom back, look at Michigan. Zoom back, look at the fucking United States. Zoom back and look at the whole fucking earth and think of how tiny and small and insignificant you and your little ass problems are when it comes to the whole big picture. Meaningless. And that meditation exercise is actually taking the time to slowly walk through that and visualize that was one way to teach me my status as far as position in comparison prospectively with the whole fucking planet. So, dude, it sucks that you got to get your brakes fixed. It ain't the end of the fucking world. The world's going to keep going on. So that's one way that maybe can help people if they really think that everything is closing in on them and that everything is in front of their face. It's not. You only see so far because your vision is not limitless, but there's a way bigger picture. The thing I like about music is that it makes Katie so happy. And you know what? It makes lots of people happy. Now, personally, I'm not a big fan of music. I'm not going to normally turn the radio on in the car just to have background subliminal control over my brain so that I'm thumping to a beat. And I would rather be of free will and cut that off. Personally, I'm a platypus. That's what I do. But I would never say I don't want there to be any music. People love it. It makes so many people happy. And it's such a big part of culture. Bigger picture, not just myself. And by the way, that's what people do with weed. You know, marijuana, we know it can help so many people, especially people that are going through chemotherapy because of cancer or wasting away diseases. Like, we know it can help them. But people are like, oh, I don't smoke weed, so I don't care about that. They're not looking at the big picture, and they don't need to feel obligated to. We all choose what we focus on, what we pay attention to, where our interests are diverted and diversified. That's up to us. And I do get that. I care about weed. When I decided to be an advocate way back in 98, I didn't know that the bigger picture was that I was going to be replacing a possible image of being an intellectual with one of being stupid because I used cannabis. I didn't understand the bigger picture that most people in society still thought that. Dude, he's fried. He don't make sense. Bro, he's wasted, dude. He's blitzed. Dude, would I have still put my energies into advocating? Yeah, because I knew that people were killing themselves with cigarettes. And what I knew was that cannabis would elongate life expectations. People still don't know that, but I do. Anyway, I sacrificed all of that for the greater good. You know, I've said before, I would quit smoking if everybody that really needed it could have better access to it. For me, it's not about getting blitzed and wasted. I often say, you know, when people ask me what I enjoy about cannabis, do I feel the inflammation that other athletes? I'm sorry, do I feel that it helps with inflammation? Like a lot of athletes for years have always acclaimed. I don't know if I feel that, but I feel my spiritual vibration ascending. I feel the frequency tuning higher. It makes me a better version of me. That's me personally. For everybody, whatever. When you're depressed, it's really hard to see the bigger picture because you feel like you are wrapped in a blanket of darkness. And a lot of you guys know, a lot of you guys don't know. I've been there. By the way, let me make this point again, too, about the bigger picture. There's so many people out there right now that want to argue drugs are bad. Don't do drugs. But you wait until their dick stops getting hard and see if they're not a little pro-drug then.
A little bit then.
Yeah, see if they don't change their mind. You know, a bigger picture. by then, and overall, a lot of people that naysayed a lot of shit before are now okay with it just because the education has gone that way and they're sheep. And so that's the way that it goes. But back to the depression thing, you get surrounded with a blanket of darkness. You can't see through it as far as you normally can see. And you can have people there that are for you, that are with you, that love you, and you can't even see them. You can't even feel that connection. Depression is a crazy thing. It runs in my family. And the brain chemistry, it's an amazing thing. It's great to just think. You could just think thoughts and make yourself automatically feel better. Brain chemistry is pretty powerful though, and sometimes you need to sometimes back to the drugs. Sometimes some people actually do need drugs to balance out the brain chemistry, and they're brought up to believe that they shouldn't do that, myself included. That's one of the hardest things for me to actually go on antidepressants when I went through this really dark thing in 2016. But I've said this many times. Someone brought up, my evil ex is brought up a lot on here. That's because that's when I learned a lot, like going through that whole situation of the whole relationship with the evil ex, the time in between, and then getting with Katie. That was me going from a caterpillar through the fucking nest, whatever the fuck they build, catacomb. What the fuck? and now look at this pretty happy butterfly. But that for me, like I grew through that. So it's going to be a reference a lot because, I feel like I was a kid there. But anyway, for people that are depressed or not feeling that good, I want you to think about there is a bigger picture that you don't see, when I was going through the divorce, man, I was so against it because I was brought up to believe that's the ultimate failure. I was going to fight tooth and nail and make sure when that bitch left that I had tried everything within my power to try to make it work, made her completely understand. I didn't want it to go that way. When it got to a fact, she's leaving for sure either way. Dealing with that got pretty bad. Now I'm in this big lonely house and I just got the dog and the dog dies and my dad dies. And I was like, I got like in this darkness where it was like, I know I'm RVD. I know people are excited as fuck to see me everywhere. All I gotta do is go down to the grocery store and I'll get love, but I couldn't see that when I'm in that darkness. And so I know what that's like. And so a lot of people that are watching this or listening, believe me, when it comes to mental health, I haven't begun to talk enough about that, even from my own experiences. And the thing is, you can feel hopeless even if logic tells you that you have hope. You can feel alone even though you know that there are some other people, and it's just this fucked up brain chemistry. And sometimes you got to see a doctor. And just because you tried one before and it didn't work doesn't mean shit, because you might not have got the right doctor. Fuck. You can't score 100% and go to the right person every time and consider that your whole experience. What kind of basic thinking is that shit? But check this out, man. If I would have known in the bigger picture that I was going to be as happy as I am today in 2023, I wouldn't have been so down. I would have said, this is what I got to do to fucking move past this. And oh my God, looking back at it, my evil ex did me such a favor. She helped the quality of my life so much by leaving, so much. Even in our happiest moments, there were nothing at all like I feel like now. Having someone that we have a real bond, real trust, real love. And even though I felt like at the time that I had a good thing, looking back at it now, knowing the bigger picture, dude, I was complacent. I was happy with the words that we spoke, meaning we promised each other to each other, but it wasn't real, obviously. And I've said this before, I was never even her top priority. And we both knew that. And my self-esteem must have been so low, or my belief in that commitment was so high that I was okay with her being my priority and me being somewhere down her list. And that's fucked up. And now looking back at it, I deserved so much more. And I'm sure even my evil ex would agree to this statement. We both did not deserve to have each other. Take that however you want to, but we deserve to be with other people. It was not a good match. And so, like, all the little nitpicking I can do and say, well, she was a bitch about the dishwasher. She was, no, bigger picture. You know what? We didn't fit together. We were not a good match. We shouldn't have been married. The whole time, we fought so much, from dating through newlywed, through being around after 10 years. There's like another 8 years of just bullshit and misery and like losing ourselves in a pointless, needless fight to keep something that didn't deserve our loyalty. Back to last week's value. That relationship did not deserve our loyalty, and she didn't give it our loyalty. Anyway, bigger picture, I'm so fucking happy today, and I'm a better person. I feel better physically, and life is just the best that it's ever been. So, you know, there's always a bigger picture, and that's what I want you to remember.
How about that? Heck yeah, Rob. That's a great one, because it's like when if you're in the midst of a depression, you cannot see through the woods whatsoever. And people can tell you can have the support around you a lot of the times, but if you're in the thick of it, it's so hard to consider the bigger picture when it comes to all that stuff, because it's the chemical makeup, it's all that stuff. It's like, whoo, man, 2016, that was a rough year for me too. At that point in time, I was going through a lot. So it's like, but realizing it now that I see the bigger picture of it all, it's like, wow, look at how all that kind of paid off in the end, you know?
Yep.
The journey that it went through. So, no doubt about it, bro. Good stuff, man. Can't wait to talk about that next week. Cool. Hey, before we get out of here, I did want to put over your interview you did with RJ City, the Hey EW. Did you catch those clips and stuff like that? It was good stuff, man.
No, I mean, I retweeted them, but I didn't hit play and watch any of them. It was an interesting interview.
Right? You did it. You guys, the way you riffed off of one another is pretty fun stuff. I
didn't know what to expect. So I was just, responding off of him, and had some pretty weird questions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was definitely some weird ones. But it was a lot of fun. If you guys haven't got a chance to check that out. Rob, anything you want to plug? The big days coming up here.
This weekend, I am going to Hamburg, Pennsylvania. I believe it's called Legends Fest, and looks like quite a few of my peers will be there as well.
I think Sabu's going to be there too. I think I saw him.
Yep, Sabu said he's going to be there, and Fonzie will be there as well.
Oh, shit! All right.
Yeah, so flying into Philly, and then I guess it's almost a 2-hour drive, roughly, almost to
probably
Hamburg.
Like Amish country, I think, in a way, like middle of the state area. So. Yeah, more on the Philly side.
I'll bring an extension cord from Philly.
Yeah, bring an extension cord. And then coming up, you got the Battle Creek show at September 30th happening. So.
Yeah, sir. Yep, we'll be back here before then, but that's coming up.
Absolutely.
Coming up.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you guys for joining us this week. If you want to check us out, go to rvdpod.com to get all the clips that you want. Full episodes will be posted on YouTube eventually here. But if you want to get them early, it's every Friday at 4:20 on the Premier Streaming Network. I don't know where to point, right here, down there, if you see that. So I'm trying to think of anything else. Follow RVD at The Real RVD. Follow the pod at RVD Pod. And that's about it. Rob, good show, man. Learned a lot. I got
cool. Hey, something. I'm gonna before we hit record, we were talking about. I was saying that I got some ultrasounds done today,
Yeah.
and I was saying, even though we got the smartest fans, I still like to get experts' opinions on what's going on inside my body. For me, that's thinking bigger picture. I mean, obviously, we have some very intelligent fans on Twitter that have told me that I have concussion damage, but still, just the same as a plan B, I've gone to a few different neurologists and other MDs and gotten their take on my damage, and I've taken tests and passed to get that I was back to normal and had no long-term concussion damage. But that's plan B in case the fan is wrong, the experts. And same thing with my lungs. This fan said recently that he knows he's got better lungs than mine, obviously, because I smoke weed. I just want to say I had a second doctor look at the reports a few days ago, look at my scans that I got on my lungs. He said my lungs are clear. He said there's no inflammation, there's no scabbing or any signs of abnormalities or signs of any smoke damage. But that's just thinking bigger picture, just in case the fan is wrong. I've had two different doctors look at my scans, and so I don't know what to do with that information, except for share it, because like I said, I know, as Jack Herer told me, that cannabis will elongate your life expectancy, and in a few years, everyone else is going to know it too, and then they'll see the bigger picture. But I see it now, but I do appreciate the fans' constant medical reports on my health. Please keep them coming.
Keep them coming. I want to know more. I learn a lot.
Keep them coming, bros. Bring them to Hamburg this weekend.
Bring them to Hamburg. Yeah.
Bring your health reports.
That's right. I want a full documentation. We'll post them up on the pod here. We'll get you going.